Hi, Sandy Ingram. Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about why countries, including Iraq, want to increase the value of their currency. Now, first, I must say that this entire series or lecture or tutorial is in the channel's membership. I'm going to give you an overview today so that you understand more clearly why we truly think and believe that Iraq will eventually increase the value of their currency. A stronger currency increases purchasing power. Imagine you travel overseas. If your country's currency is strong, every dollar, every euro, or every dinar buys more goods and services in another country. But always remember this one thing. What is good for individual citizens is also good for businesses. Companies can import machinery, technology, vehicles, and raw materials at lower costs. Now, this helps inflation. Now, I know this just sounds like a lot of words, but listen to each word because each word means something. This helps lower inflation. When the country's currency is high and the company goes out to buy raw materials, purchases, vehicles, or whatever, they purchase at a lower rate because the country's currency is more powerful. This helps inflation. Now, many countries import fuel, food, medicine, electronics, and industrial equipment. When the currency gains value, these imported products become less expensive. Do I need to repeat that? Countries are importing fuel, food, medicine, electronics, and industrial equipment. So when the currency has a high value against other currencies, these imported products become less expensive. Businesses often pay less, and consumers may eventually benefit from lower prices. Now, the next thing that a stronger currency does is it builds confidence among international investors. And you always hear me say on this channel, international investors, because what happens is when a flow, an influx of international investors arrive into a country, what they have invested in increases the employment rate. It helps to grow the economy because they're bringing in business. Their business is growing. This is what lowers the unemployment rate and gets a country out of the dumps. Countries with stable, strengthening currencies often attract more foreign currency investments. And that's a good thing. That's what Iraq needs more than anything else except for banking reform, control over their IQD banknotes, and reducing corruption and developing strong streams of income, annual income outside of the oil industry. Now, another advantage of having a strong currency is the cost of paying foreign debt. Many governments borrow money in US dollars or euros. If their own currency becomes stronger, it takes fewer units of local currency to make those debt payments. This can free up government resources for infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other priorities. Strong currencies can also encourage domestic savings. Strong currencies encourage citizens to save more. And when citizens put their money into the bank, the central bank, the banking system, then has more control over the country's economy. The more money that citizens save, the better off a country will be. And as you know, Iraq is having a very serious problem at this point because the Iraqis will not put their dinars into the banking system. They just won't do it. But you want to remember this also. Strengthening a currency is not always the best solution. Exports often become more expensive for foreign buyers. If products made in one country cost more because of high exchange rates, customers may choose similar products from another country. This can reduce export sales and affect employment in export industries. Now, Vietnam has this down pat. They don't want you to go anywhere else in the world to buy exports that they provide. That's one of the reasons that they keep their currency so very, very low. Let's talk about tourism. Visitors from other countries find hotels, restaurants, transportation, and entertainment more expensive when the local currency rises significantly. And as you know, Iraq is looking very hard at tourism as being one of the major streams of income outside of the oil industry. Now, for this tourism to really kick off and become a global thing, they need for their currency to be comfortable for tourists coming in from all over the world. This is why many central banks, they opt for stability rather than simply pursuing stronger currencies position or higher currency rates. Now, we kind of know that the IQD is undervalued. So there's very little doubt that once Iraq gets on the same page with all of the qualifications needed, that they more than likely will increase the value of their currency. But I don't want you to get too excited about how much they increase it, because they're not trying to have inflation, and they're not trying to fix it so that tourism doesn't blossom. So you want to keep that in mind as an investor, as an IQD investor. You always want to look at both sides and stay balanced. You never want to be reaching for a $3 to 1 dinar situation when that would not be good for the country itself.